Good morning, IBC family. My name is Dena, and I am bringing you our weekly encouragement. So I've been studying Jonah for the last couple weeks, or maybe a month and a half, actually, and just deep diving into the 4 chapters of that book and how we start with Jonah and how we end, and all the goodness and grace that God gives Jonah during that time, and the words that God gives him, and have been really touched by them, and so I'm just diving into that right now. I'm finding it very encouraging and very eye-opening, and it's crazy because I know that I've read this story so many times, I want to say a bazillion times, but that's obviously not true, but a lot of times, and I feel like God is just really opening up a lot of knowledge and wisdom to me during this time. So it's really awesome. I really encourage you to study it. But Jonah, as you know, was called to the city of Nineveh, and Nineveh was known for its darkness and its wickedness and the immorals and just everything that we're seeing right now. And Jonah was called to go over there. And during the beginning of the time, we think, when you're opening up the first scriptures, and then, that Jonah's running, and he specifically says, he gets to the boat and goes to Tarshish and goes the opposite direction, and not just a little in the opposite direction, he's trying to go a lot in the opposite direction. He's full on running from God, has stated that he's running from God, and doesn't want to do what God's called him to do. And I felt that he was scared to go there because of all that darkness. And we continue on, and this giant storm comes, and the answer is to get rid of Jonah. The storm is caused because Jonah's on the boat, but Jonah's at peace and he is sleeping, and everybody around him is in chaos and they can't handle the storm. And he's like, they come to him and what do we do? And he's like, I serve the God that's creating this. I'm sorry, what you need to do is throw me overboard. Well, they don't want to throw him overboard. They don't want him to put into that storm. And so they continue going through this and hucking things that they need, that they don't need, but they really do need. So it's a long journey. It's a significantly longer journey than going to Nineveh. And so they're chucking everything overboard. And finally, they've chucked everything that they really can to get rid of before ultimate survival mode goes in. And they come to him again and was like, we're, pretty much please tell us about this, God, and what can we do? And he's like, well, you just need to throw me overboard in order for the storm to stop. They do. And immediately they start to repent, and they ask God to be in their lives because he calmed the storm. Well, now we have the storm, and Jonah is in the ocean, gets swallowed up by a whale, and he's there. And he has these moments with God, and 3 days and 3 nights in this darkness, dealing with this. I doubt there was utter darkness, but maybe there was, because we have a gracious God, and being in blackoutness would be terrifying. Not seeing anything around you for 3 days or 3 nights, not knowing what's in there, not knowing what to do. But he had a relationship with God, so he's talking with God, but he doesn't want to do it. He really does not want to go to Nineveh. He gets to Nineveh, and it's exactly what he knows is it's darkness. There's so much sin, the morals are just not there, just wickedness, all of this. And he says, one time he makes a proclamation, what's going to happen, that God's going to destroy the city. And immediately the townspeople start repenting and tearing off their clothes and putting their sackcloth on and running to Jesus. And then the king finds out, and the same thing, and then they declare it, this. And Jonah gets mad, and he wants, you just see them, and he gets mad, and you feel like he just wants them to see, what God has for him. But really, in all actuality, he's mad because God's saving them. God changed his mind. And as you continue reading, you read on to see that Jonah actually gets told by God this is exactly, or God, Jonah tells God, that this is exactly why I didn't want to come. Because you're going to give this message, and then as soon as the people repent, you have grace and you show it. And he gets mad and he goes to and let's just be real, he's pouting, grown man pouting, any of us grown adult pouting, okay? Goes over there, and God puts a tree by him, grows this tree, grows it from nothing, it dies. Jonah's then very upset, and it gets scorched, and then I believe it floods. And drawing a blank, I haven't had to read, I'm rereading it multiple times, so but I don't reread it all at the same time, so I do apologize. I should have had it up in here. But anyways, it withers, and then it dies, and then he's upset about that. And he's like, you're more upset that I killed this tree that you had nothing to do with. You didn't water it, you didn't feed it, you didn't plant it, you did nothing. And you're more upset this than you are of my people perishing, because I'm having grace. And I feel like it was just an eye-opener to Jonah, be like, plants live too, but the same care you plant for the earth and the plants, you need to have for my people. So all that to say is, I want to encourage you to love those unlovable, to befriend those unfriendable, and obviously be guided by God and be directed by him, because you won't be protected if you're not prayed up, right? And you can be pulled in. So make sure you're prayed up, filled up, and ready to minister to our city, and reach those that are the unreachable, and touch those that are untouchable, and love, just truly love, and tell people what will happen. But first, do it out of love. Go to them and tell them about Jesus and what will happen if they don't experience that. But ultimately, just love them, because God will do the conviction. God will soften their hearts so that they can receive, open their ears to hear, open their eyes to see where they're failing and where the sin is, and that the corrections that need to be done. We as Christians don't need to do that. We just need to see the need, that they need Jesus. And then we need to just minister to them and love on them. Love like Jesus. Reach our city with love and compassion. And don't be afraid to speak about who Jesus is to you and what he's doing in your life. Because there is a great number of people that only you are called to reach. Your number's already been spoken. God already knows who it is, the people you're supposed to talk to, how many they are, how you're supposed to reach them, how you're going to reach them, the words that you are going to say. But there's people that only you can reach. There's people only I can reach. There's people that my children will only be able to reach, and it doesn't, it doesn't matter who I am. It doesn't matter if I have a relationship with that person that they're called to. Because if I'm not called to be the person that wins them to Jesus, I'm not going to be. But I can plant the seeds, and I can love on them, and I can pave the way for someone else to harvest. But right now, people need Jesus. And I know that all of us have a heart for the lost, and we want to see people loved and be won over to Jesus, because he needs them. And we need him, right? So I want to encourage you just to remember that. Love like Jesus. Let's not be angry when God has grace on those, which I don't foresee us doing that. But we all can. We all have our moments. There's usually someone in our life that ticks us off, and we're just, everybody deserves Jesus. So with that, have a great day.